Area Rentals. Welcome to Rentals and Teams Presents. Today we are talking to Jim Bowie with Resource Financial about what's going on in the financial market. He's one of our go-to partners for both refinances and talking today about the differences in the market, what's going on, the trends, and what maybe COVID-19 and all the pandemic how it's affected us and what you should look for. So what have you seen? What's really changed
Thanks,
in the
Andrea.
industry?
Thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here. So this is my 22nd year in the industry as a mortgage lender. And right now we're experiencing the lowest rates in the history of my career, really in the history of the country. We're seeing a lot of folks refinancing who are locking in at around 3% currently on 30-year mortgages and as low as 2.5% on 15-year mortgages. So, obviously our relationship is mostly purchase driven, but we are doing, while we were doing about 80% purchase before COVID hit and rates really bottomed out, we're now doing about 50-50 purchase to refi business. A lot of changes have happened. I mean, the low rates are great, not only for refinances, but also for the purchase business. There are a lot of things that happen when rates are lower. Number one, you can, a buyer who may not have been able to afford the payment on a house that they really wanted, well, now their buying power is a lot more.
So say I have a buyer that's calling me, and the first thing I recommend is for them to get pre-qualified, because I'd hate for them to look for a house more than they can afford, or on the other side less than they can afford. So it's really about what that's going to cost you monthly.
Yeah.
So when I send a client to you to pre-qualify, what does that process look like?
So ultimately I'd have an initial call with a client, go over some basics, just kind of get to know them a little bit, learn about what their goals are and what their situation is, and then ultimately if I feel like from that view it's someone we can get qualified, I'd shoot them an online application to fill out. We take a look at it, run their credit report. The two big factors we look at on pre-approval are, number one, credit score, and to find out what program they fit into, and number two, debt to income ratio. Big thing, and it is crucial for folks to get pre-approved right now, because they may think they know exactly what the guidelines look like or what programs look like, but some of the changes we have seen during COVID entail the fact that FHA, VA, and USDA loans, which are your government programs, minimum credit scores have been increased from as low as about 580 on FHA or 620 on USDA up to about 680.
I have clients that come to me and they are with maybe a larger bank, so Bank of America, Wells Fargo. I've found in my personal experience that having someone local, you get, I don't know if it's better service or it's faster response time, but explain to me how you compare to maybe the larger banks in terms of timing.
Yeah, so great question, and of course, we think we're better than everybody else out there, and the reason why is because we sort of compare it to a cruise ship compared to a speedboat, right? It really became a huge competitive advantage for us as a small local company, privately owned by myself and my wife and my partner. We still control our process, and we are still able to close loans very quickly. Now we're at about 25 or 30 days.
Which is still incredible.
So I can still close loans just as fast and usually within a contract period, depending on the situation.
Another question I have is, of course, we're talking about refinance and people that are qualified. What about somebody that's thinking about buying but hasn't really gotten there yet? What advice do you have in terms of preparing for a home purchase?
I mean, the first thing is to really talk to your lender. Reach out to me, reach out to one of my affiliates at Resource Financial, and ultimately we can walk you through the process. But we're going to talk to you about your credit, we're going to talk to you about your income, we're going to advise you what program best fits your needs. When you're talking about preparing documentation, things like pay stubs and W-2s, or right now self-employed borrowers are going through a little bit more of a process through underwriting where you're going to need some tax returns that are already filed. But you definitely want to get together with your lender and discuss that information to see where you are and to make sure you're pre-qualified before you go out and start getting excited about a property you see that you really love and want to buy, but maybe you can't. So,
what kind of time frame? I guess it depends on if you have money saved up, or how much preparation do you need to
well, I mean, it really depends on your individual situation. I mean, if you walk in the door and you're a W-2 employee and have a 20% down payment saved up and you've got an 800 credit score, you're ready to go. But if you come in and you
do you ever work with people that have some maybe credit blips to
absolutely,
help them through the process?
Yeah, and we actually have we actually have an employee with Resource Financial who can take a look at your report and has a background in credit repair, and she really is a pro at talking to you about what you can do over time and things that you can pay off or pay down in order to hopefully increase your credit score. A lot of people who are good with money who are definitely taking advantage of the low mortgage rates and doing some things with their finances that make a whole lot of sense for the long run. So.
Right. Well, I just want to say that I honestly appreciate all your help for all these years. I trust you, and I wouldn't recommend you if I didn't. So you are definitely our preferred lender. Thank you for being a part of our team, and we thank you for coming here today to give us a little information about the market and
Sure.
what's going on. And I just want to say thank you.
Yeah, well, thank y'all for having me. And of course, cherish our relationship as friends and business partners, and it has been a great long-term relationship, and I certainly appreciate it. So thanks so much for having me today, Reynolds and team, and look forward to seeing what happens in the future with everything going on.
Many more deals. Thank you for Reynolds and Team Presents, and have a great day.